Hello everybody. It is Monday the 21st of April. I did not make a video over Easter because my laptop is on the blink again. It's starting rattling again, so you can barely talk above it, the noise of it. But at the moment it seems to have calmed down again, so I'll try to get this out. Again, I'm speaking against. I'm the voice that speaks against. The way of the cross is the way into destruction. The way of the cross is not the way into life, it's the way into death. And just want to make that clear again in this video. It is the death of humanity, is the way of the cross. It is the denial of our humanity, and it is the killing of our humanity within ourselves. And those that go the way of the cross will do it for themselves. It's not being done to them. They're doing it. Being completely and utterly deluded, have not understood a word of what that book is telling you, calling evil good. Absolutely calling evil good. Worshipping evil as love. I mean, how twisted can you get? Again, if you look at the book, the New Testament, then please see what is happening there and see that there are two voices coming out of Jesus. That is what is creating the contradictions in that book, because there are contradictions. And it's only if you close your eyes to what it actually says, or close your ears to what it actually says, that you cannot see those contradictions, because they're clearly there. So if Jesus went into a state of gnosis or of an expanded awareness and channeled, was contacted, channeled another entity. And then the conversation within Jesus started, the duality. It was like getting to know each other, getting to know God, that other entity. And it was a conversation between his humanity, the way we look at things, the way we understand things, our knowledge of good and bad, most certainly, versus God, his view of how things should be done, what creation is, his own view of himself in creation. I am the ruler. I am the mighty one. Everything in creation was created to serve me. My will must be done. That is the other voice. So there's this dialogue going on between the two voices, maybe trying to find a compromise. I don't know. But the compromise did not happen. Humanity lost out in Jesus. His humanity lost the argument and died. That is what happened. So, and then going the way to know the knowledge of God, the knowledge of the other, is a way to think like the other, to speak like the other, to get onto the wavelength of the other. Which is a different energy. Thoughts and emotions creating energy. That other is a different energy. Because they have different thoughts, different emotions. And it's to beginning to think like them. Against the voice of your own humanity. That is what Jesus said. That is the way of the cross. It is the denial of self. The denial of self. the denial of your humanity, to get you to that place. And actually the knowledge of humanity must serve the will of God. Our energies, the knowledge of our energies and what our energies can do must serve the will of God. Not in service of love your neighbor as yourself, because that's humanity, that is this world. That is our truth. Love your neighbor as yourself. That is the one side that spoke. But you must deny that. That is a denial of self. And here comes, if you see self and neighbor as an equation, yeah? If you deny self on the one side of the equation, if you make that nothing, I am nothing for myself, I do nothing for myself, I think nothing. I am not, I am a servant, I am nothing, I even sacrifice myself if I'm asked to do so. If that happens to the one side of the equation and you call that good, you call that enlightened and good, what happens to the other side of the equation? How do you see your neighbor? If your neighbor has any idea of himself or of his family, of anything like that, you will judge that as bad. Humanity, you will judge humanity as bad. Again, that voice said, those that would follow me will be my disciples, go to the cross, must hate their mother, father, whatever, all the others. You must hate that. He preached hate. That voice in him preached hate. That is not love your neighbor as yourself. That is the other side that said that. Read the book and let your humanity be the judge of good and bad of what is being said there. Stand in your truth and be the judge. And the way our knowledge must be used is again in Lazarus, in the story of Lazarus. Yeah? When we are beings of compassion, and if we had the knowledge of healing as Jesus did, then to sit there for 4 days and let your friend die is not our truth. It is not a truth that has been brought to you on compassion, to let him die. So Jesus must have sat there for 4 days denying his truth, denying his compassion. Why? Because what should happen afterwards should glorify that kingdom. It should be there to glorify that God. Not for Lazarus, not for himself. He didn't. When he went there and the people said, is that not the man that loves Lazarus? He groaned at that. He groaned at the very thought that he would do that because he loved Lazarus. Because he loved his brother like himself. No, he loved God. I'm doing this to glorify God. He did not love you, but that God does not love humanity. That voice that is speaking out of him does not love humanity. It is coming to slaughter. Once we no longer have the strength to stand in our own truth, it will come to slaughter, because that's what happened in the book of the Revelation. Yeah? I've just heard again, every Easter, oh, the love of God that sacrifices his own son. I mean, how twisted and warped do you have to be already to say that? Yeah, the loving Father that would take his own son and brutally sacrifice him because it would serve his intention. That's why Jesus went to the cross, because it would serve the intention of God to come and rule over this world. So there's a father that would sacrifice even his own son to have that come true, to serve his own intention. And you call that love. The blood of Jesus, that is love. Yeah? Well, then I suppose if you accept that as love, then when in the book of the Revelation the blood goes up to the bridle of the horses, that must be rivers of love then, is it? If you accept the first as love, then the other must be the greater love. When the angels come and slaughter, and the blood goes up to the bridles of the horses. Rivers of love, is it? But here's the thing, that I think we are going into a time of expanded awareness where the Spirit is poured out on all. People going nuts left, right and center. Yeah, people have dreams, people prophesy. No, people have dreams, people see visions, and people prophesy. Yeah? Everybody's at it. And I heard, again, just now, that if you go into the expanded awareness, yeah, that everything that is you, your personas, the mother, the father, the whatever, needs to go out of the way, needs to step aside to let the truth come through. Because, here comes, because what is you is polluting the truth. It's a pollution. I've just heard that said, that our humanity is a pollution of the truth. Well, if you say the Creator gives to all, yeah, or, I mean, it's not the Creator that's given, you're coming into contact with other beings, but you are going into the place where that is even possible, yeah? But that the intention is that everything should receive to serve it, yeah? Knowledge was given to serve yourself. If you read... if you receive the knowledge as given to serve you, then you must be there as a judge. That is not a pollution. But that is the correct way. Where you receive the knowledge and, you think your personas, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister that you are, says, is this good? Would that serve me? Would that serve those around me? That is not a pollution, that is the correct way. That is where everything receives according to itself, then yourself must be there as the judge. But no, I've just heard it's pollution. Your humanity is a pollution that stands in the way of what? Something else coming to rule over you. Yeah? Jesus says, don't have a self, don't be yourself, crucify yourself, deny yourself. In order to do what? In order to let another self in. That is not the Creator, that is not all, that is just another being. A bloody narcissist. A bloody narcissist, literally. That is coming to take over. To be the ruler over you, over your thinking, over your body even, because your body will afterwards do what the thinking tells you to do. That is because he denied his truth, and we are all going on this way. I mean, I'm just everybody now. Just listen to Greg Braden again. Jesus, the greatest master that walked. We must listen to his words. Yeah. They are all elevating Jesus as the master. And not seeing that it is Jesus that brought the way to destruction by denying his own humanity. So if there's a time coming now where we are all seeing visions and we are prophesying or God knows what, where we are opening up to a greater level of awareness, where we will have knowledge of others. Yeah? I would say first in the spirit, and then it will become a solid reality, because that is what the spirit creates, the solid reality. And we are letting something in that is destroying us. And we're calling it love. That is not love. Not love for yourself, not love for your neighbor. I really wish somebody would hear me. Thousands of views for the other videos. Is there really nobody left in the world that can see the truth, that would stand up for its own humanity and not call evil good? A father that sacrifices his son because it serves him, because it serves his intention. That is not love. Can anybody still see that? And to willingly go, to willingly suppress your own humanity that would speak against it. If nothing else, the last thing, your survival instinct that is of this world and that is a part of humanity, is a part of everything in this world. Everything wants to have life. Everything is striving toward life. And the way it's arranged, it's that life can be sustained for all. Then if you go up against that, you go toward death, not life. Life is here. And you are going toward death. Yeah? The angels will come and they will slaughter. And you're going up to Jesus and you're saying, if he's there, yeah? You're running up to him. Oh, I was filled with compassion. I drove out demons in your name. And what will he say? I do not know you. Because you followed the way of your humanity, of loving your neighbor as yourself. And he was on a completely different wavelength. He went the way of the cross. He denied all of that to serve something that will come to rule over. He will not know you because he is the servant of evil. Has become the servant of evil. That is the way of the cross. Yeah? And if people say, now, oh, he had a completely different God. He's not talking about the same God as, different Elohim. Well, he may have served a different devil. But one devil is very much like another. They're all destroyers. Yeah? Same animal, maybe different spots, but the outcome will be the same. Here, folks, I leave it at this for today. Just stand in the truth of your humanity. And if a time comes where we are being contacted, where we may have these knowledges, these conversations inside of ourselves, the conflict, the war was inside of ourselves. Yeah? Then stand in your truth and do not become the gateway to let something in that comes to destroy. You are the gateway and you are the thing that can shut the door by standing in its own truth. In your own truth. You will shut the door. Again, is the outcome inevitable? Is the destruction of humanity inevitable? No, it is not. We are the ones that are willingly doing it, that are willingly sacrificing ourselves. And if we stop doing it, that outcome will not come. Every effect has got a cause. The outcome is caused by our actions. And if we do not act like that, if we do not deny ourselves, that outcome will not happen. That is the way out of it. It is within ourselves. Call your humanity good and stand in that truth, and humanity will go on. Right, I leave it at that for today. And I'll talk to you again soon, if my laptop keeps up. Anyway, see you then. Bye.